Yes. Yes,
Um,
indeed.
yeah, so let's discuss that.
Talk about. Got a lot to talk about.
What's the first game? Where should we start in all this madness?
You know, I think it'd be a good way to start out by talking about those Baylor Bears going into Lubbock and putting 59 on Texas Tech. In the world is going on?
I
Like,
started to, dude, I was laughing like crazy. I did not understand what was going on. Um,
and like you said, didn't y'all's quarterback get the Big 12 Player of the Week?
yeah, he did. He threw for 5 touchdowns. Uh, and even our backup rushed for a 40-yard touchdown.
Oh my gosh! Oh
Um,
my gosh!
so yeah, a lot of things happened out there in Lubbock. Obviously, Tech fans aren't very happy with that. Very disappointed.
How
But
many
I'm very
torti-
happy.
I wonder how many tortillas they threw that day.
When they were doing a news, the reporter was on the field, and this lady was trying to throw the tortilla, and she couldn't throw it more than 2 feet, and it was funny.
Really?
Yeah, so
That's funny.
let's get to
That's
more
re-
of the marquee games. Let's talk about
yeah.
Georgia and Texas.
Well, I mean, like we said last week, we both thought that Georgia would, dominate the line of scrimmage, and after watching the game, that's pretty much what happened, right?
Yeah, Georgia controlled it.
Yeah.
Um, DBs they're flying all over the field too, um, forcing lots of turnovers, lots of
Hmm.
that Georgia defense is
They're for
wreaking
real.
havoc, wreaking
Yeah.
havoc on the field.
Yeah, I believe they sack Quinn Ewers and that caused a fumble and it was Georgia football. Yeah.
I think they had like close to, I don't even know, it was like close to 5 6 sacks. The
Hmm.
offensive line for Texas was awful, but that
Right.
Georgia pass rush, man, that's amazing.
Well, and because Sarkeesian put both Manning and Ewers in, and I think they both coughed up the ball. It was
Mm-hmm.
they both had turnovers, so Georgia won the
Yeah,
turnover battle.
the
Yeah,
Texas quarterbacks looked rattled.
yeah. Now, do we want to talk about the bottle throwing on the
Oh
field?
no, Texas fans, it was a pass interference call
Yeah.
that the refs they threw a pass interference on an interception that Texas had got, and fans were
And,
not very happy.
and so they just started throwing like what was it? Was it beer bottles too?
I don't know, it was all kinds of stuff to be honest.
Yeah, and I think Steve Sarkeesian went to the student section and he was trying to tell them to stop it,
Mm-hmm.
which I
Um,
don't blame him.
but it worked. Texas got it to work in their favor. Surprisingly, the
It
refs
delayed the game. Yeah,
and they reversed the call. I think.
they did. They did. Yeah,
Um,
I never
crazy.
seen. I had never seen that before.
Mm-mm.
Were they overturn a call like that quick? I'd never seen that before. And even Kirby Smart, the Georgia head coach, was like, "Hey, what the heck's going on?"
Yeah, that was
I yeah,
madness. I don't know what word to describe that game, but Georgia definitely whooped them
yeah,
pretty.
yeah.
Um, both the QB play on both sides was not.
It wasn't very good,
No, it wasn't very.
but the running game for Georgia really helped them and their defense getting those turnovers, getting those takeaways. That's what won them the game in dominant fashion.
Yeah, like you said, Trevor Etienne was a huge factor in that game.
Yeah,
He ran all over the ran all over the Longhorns.
right. Well, the next game, Alabama versus Tennessee. Tennessee gets the win in Knoxville. How
It,
about that?
oh man, I think if you're Alabama fan, you got to be worried at this point. Um,
Well, because right now I think they're sitting at 5-2, and I think they're 2-2 in the SEC
I
standings
think
right
you're,
now.
yeah, I think you're one loss away from getting knocked out the playoffs. I mean,
Hmm.
Alabama fans, you got a lot to worry about.
Right. Well, remember they still got to go on the road to LSU. They got to go on the road to Oklahoma. Um, and then they finish out with Auburn. I mean, you could be looking at a 9-3 or maybe even 8-4 Alabama team if they don't get things, if they don't, you know, if they can't get better.
Yeah, this is obviously not the Nick Saban era anymore.
Yeah, yeah, and I will also say too. Well, in that game too, I believe it was 7-0 at half, but I believe there was a lot of because I know Tennessee fumbled the ball with Dylan Sampson, Alabama recovered it, but neither offense was able to really generate anything. And in the second half, Tennessee was really able to come out barking, and then you know fourth quarter, I think there was 1:30 remaining. Milrow throws a pick, and that was your ball game.
Yeah, Nico rose up and played above expectations that game.
And I believe he got injured in the game too. I think it was
He
it,
got
it
hurt.
was
Yeah.
I think it was his shoulder or something. He got hurt, but he came
Wow.
back.
Yeah, the defense did a great job against that
Hmm.
dynamic Bama offense.
Yeah, yeah,
It's honestly kind of underwhelming for what we
yeah,
saw earlier in the season.
yeah.
A lot of confusion who the best team really is in the SEC right now. Texas
Well,
went down, Alabama
yeah.
went down. Maybe
Well,
is Tennessee the best team in the SEC right now?
um, right now, I believe it's A&M and LSU who's on top, who's in first and second place. I would say Tennessee is right up there. One thing I'll say about Tennessee though is they beat Alabama, but their offense is still, I think, trying to find their way. Um, there's I think they're still missing those big explosive plays downfield. Um, they still have to go on the road to Georgia. They still have a tough schedule. So, I think this is a team that can still stay in the hunt, but I think they're definitely going to have to, like Alabama, get better. You know,
Yeah, I think Tennessee's still very, very solid shot of making the playoffs.
right?
Like you said, young team too.
Hmm.
I didn't even hear of Dylan Sampson until this year, and that dude had an exceptional game against Alabama.
Right.
Um, so I mean, anything can happen. Obviously,
Hmm.
right now the SEC is not like we thought it would be
Mm-mm. That's
earlier in the
wide
year.
open. It's
It
wide
is
open.
wide open.
Yeah.
With Texas A&M, LSU really dominating it so far.
Yeah. Well, speaking of A&M and LSU, LSU got a big win in Fayetteville against Arkansas.
Yeah, they won the Golden Boot, like you said. That
Uh-huh.
was your game of the week last week. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
huge win for LSU.
And I'll say Garrett Nussmeier is really proving himself.
Yeah,
I think he's getting better each week, and they scored 34 points against Arkansas. That's pretty good. So, well, that's they're them and A&M are really starting to kind of get up there. Obviously for Arkansas, tough loss. I don't know if that was a curtain call for Sam Pittman. I don't think it was. We'll see how Arkansas does for the rest of the year. But credit to LSU, they went on the road and got a big win in a rivalry game.
yeah, huge, huge win for LSU, and it sets up a huge, massive showdown, I believe, this week um, versus your Aggies.
Yep, yep,
Very big game. So
yeah.
it's certainly interesting. We'll
It's
say
it's been
that
crazy. Yeah, it
this is
certainly has been crazy.
this year in college football has been like no other.
Yeah.
How about Indiana though, going and blowing out Nebraska?
I, I'm not gonna lie. I did not see that coming. I really didn't. That was shocking to me.
Coach Sig and the guys got it done.
And what was the finals? Was it 50?
Dude, it was like 56-7, I think.
Golly.
Dude,
Yeah, Indiana's legit. They're
oh
they're
yeah,
pretty. They're legit.
man. If that Ohio's when they play, I think they play. I don't know when Ohio State comes in their schedule, but whenever that game happens, it's gonna be a great one to watch.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Obviously they
Certainly.
haven't had a 10 win season in their program's history, so
Right. And does Indiana play Oregon?
Dude, I'd have to look.
Yeah,
Look at the rest of their schedule.
yeah. I
Um,
don't think they do.
yeah, I
If they
think they're
don't, then that's a win for them because Oregon's the number one team in the country right now.
man is man that'd be crazy. Indiana's leading the Big Ten right now,
Wow.
and Oregon.
Well, Oregon's they're number one, and then I think Indiana is like number 16 or something along those
Okay, so
lines.
I believe College Game Day is coming to this next game. Indiana will be playing against Washington.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
Washington's obviously been a little shaky this year.
Yeah, they have
Albert
them
Loft,
and
their head
yeah,
coach.
them and Michigan have been a little bit shaky.
Oh yeah, so their next to last game of the season, Indiana will play Ohio State.
Is it on the road or is it at Indiana?
We will see. Um, it is at Ohio State.
Ooh, so that'd be a tough test for them.
Yeah, is Indiana's definitely a playoff contender this year.
Yeah, yep. So far.
Mhm. So far, it's been a heck of a run. Um,
hmm
one of the greatest first year head coaching jobs
Yeah.
I've seen in a good while.
Well, and so far this year, there have been a lot of first year head coach. There's been a lot of first year head coaches at these schools. They're doing pretty solid. They're doing really good.
Yeah, it's just the chemistry's there.
Yeah.
I mean look at Baylor's quarterback completely changed that new offensive coordinator. A lot of
All right.
coaching changes. Coaching
Mm-hmm.
changes are very like positive and well received nowadays just because the players are playing better.
Right. Well, and they just got it. Those coaches got to just keep on winning. They got to
Yeah,
keep focused. You know,
man, yeah,
which they will.
Army won again, Navy won again.
Yeah.
So,
Didn't
um,
Navy score 51 points this week?
yeah, yeah, they did.
It's
I don't
crazy.
know. I don't know what's going on with these military school offenses. The the Army quarterback, I believe, had like he had 5 rushing touchdowns.
Jeez.
5 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown against East Carolina.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, obviously there's a lot of crazy stuff going on this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, so let's see.
What else? Um, were there any other games?
I don't know. We talked. I mean, the
We, t- we
we
talked
talked
we talked
about.
about the big ones.
Yeah, we can talk about Oklahoma really went Oklahoma State BYU game really went down into it. Um,
Oh yeah, and the Iowa State and UCF game.
yeah, that went down to the wire for a little bit. 10 of the undefeated teams in FBS, 2 of them are in the Big 12. Who would have thought?
Hmm. Is that let's see, Iowa State and BYU, right? In the Big
Yeah,
12?
it's no
Yeah.
SEC team is undefeated right now.
Wow.
Kind of hard to think about it, but
Well, yeah. Well, as you continue to get deeper into the season, when teams start beating each other, on the field, some teams are gonna, go down. Some teams are gonna rise up. That's just
oh
what
yeah,
happens.
it's
I mean, for any conference,
all about the push towards the end of the season.
right? That's all that matters.
It's all who gets hot at the end of the season.
Yep.
Um,
Well, a famous line I remember is they remember November. November is usually one of the most important months, in college football because that's really when things kind of, you see who's a contender or a pretender.
yeah,
You know.
November is definitely the month where champions are made.
Yep. And
Man,
December and January, obviously, but
yeah, but
November is kind of the.
it's like the dog days of college football. It's that meat of your schedule. It's the
hmm
most important part. So
Yeah.
lots of recap stuff. Lots of stuff happened this week.
Who's your Heisman candidates right now still?
Ashton Genty didn't play this past week. Travis Hunter barely played. Um,
Yeah,
Colorado blew out Arizona.
I did
Um,
see that. Yeah,
so they're
yeah.
doing very, very well for themselves right now.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
very surprising too. I only thought they'd win like 5 games, 6 games at max.
Right.
Now I
Yeah.
could
No, Colorado's doing pretty good this year.
now I could see them almost maybe winning the Big 12.
Maybe we'll
But
see.
that offensive line's got to hold up. So
Yeah.
and I thought Arizona would be pretty good, but
Yeah. They haven't been too hot.
Noah Fafita hasn't been playing
Right.
great.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, lots of madness this year. Very,
Mhm.
very different year for college football. And what a year to start a podcast.
I don't think it. I think this is probably one of the best years to start it.
Oh yeah, of course. But I mean, we'll keep y'all tuned in, keep y'all plugged. Obviously, that's our recap episode for the week,
Mhm.
and um, we'll review the games on Friday whenever the next episode comes out. So
Yep.
we'll see
We
y'all
sure
then.
will. All righty. See y'all later. I'll be right back.
All right. You're more than okay.